Hey everyone, so this is going to be our third project. It's Between the Lines podcasting activity. And it has a lot to do with inferencing, and we'll talk about that in a second. So with this, there are three parts to it. We're going to start off by analyzing just 4 episodes of The Way I Heard It podcast. You're going to listen to each episode twice, which please understand the twice. All right. And they're just models of how you're going to start writing your narrative, your story for something that you're going to talk about later. So there are 2 listens. First, you're just trying to infer the subject based on the clues provided. Second, you're going to pick out clues that Mike Rowe, who's our host, is giving us hints about. All right. And then after you listen to it 2 times and write down the clues, you'll make notes about the writing style. Pay attention to hooks, engaging language, and imagery. So if you come down here, you have 2 options that you can look at. You can do the Between the Lines Google Slides or Between the Lines Google Doc. Now, this is what the Google Slides look like. They're just prettier. They always are. But some people don't like those. They want it more straightforward, and they want it like the Google Doc version. They're the exact same thing, no matter which way you slice it. It's the exact same outlook, like answers and all these other things. But with this one, okay, it kind of goes through each of your listens. All right. First, listen what you want to do. Second, listen what you want to do. And third, listen what you want to do. And then you kind of type it out here. So these are like clues that he's giving you. That's your first listen, as well as the inference as you listen. And then the second listen, any notes about the things that he does. Like, how does he present the story? How does he explain things? How does he do all of these? Now, I'm not going to take off if you don't get the hook or the imagery or the vocabulary part. The second listen, this part down here that's highlighted, the notes about writing style. These are more just ways for you to start internalizing and start thinking about how can you adjust your writing style when you come down to our second part. So don't stress too much about filling in this box, but I do want these 2 boxes filled in. And there are 4 podcasts. You click on this to find the podcast. I think in the Google Doc, it's just, there's the link. Okay. And then part 2, you're going to use slide 8 or Google, like if it's in the Google Docs, it's right here, step 2, research a person or event from history. So any person from history, any event from history, it can be current, it can be forever ago, but one person, one event, we're going to research it. Now, the way we research, I talked to you about it the last time we did research. I'm going to talk to you about it again. You need to use SIRS Discover or PebbleGo or something through our library database if at all possible. So there are people out there that I kind of let you get away with on creating drama that on this one, if they're not relevant enough that you can find reliable sources, I want you to kind of stay away from it. Okay. But other than that, it's free game. And the other thing with part 2, which we did not do with the last one, is you can research with a friend, a partner, but you've got to be careful when it comes to working with a friend, working with a partner, because part 3 has got to be done. And if you can't get part 3 done at school, you have to find time outside of school with that partner. Okay. But anyways, here, if you come down here, you're going to start researching. I just don't like the way I set this research up here. It's confusing to me. Whereas on the Google Doc, it's pretty straightforward. Like interesting fact, details, and then you start writing down here. Okay, so that's just how I like the Google Doc more from the sense of the second part of it, but I like the Google Slides more from the first part of it. You can do both because eventually the finished product that you turn into me is the Google Slides. I mean is the last part 3. This is the part 3 where you record yourself, you and your partner, you and your 2 partners, whoever you want to work with. Now, I know Vocaroo works. I know that Loom works. I don't know if Screencastify works at school, but one of these 3 should work for you. GarageBand as well, if you're at home and you want to use that. I'm using a thing called ScreenPal, but I believe that costs money. Anyways, pick a thing that works best for you and your partner, or works best for you, and you're going to record a podcast like Mike Rowe recorded a podcast. Now, you notice Mike Rowe's podcast was 6 minutes. I don't even need it to be that long. 3 to 4 minutes is probably long enough because I've got to listen to all of your podcasts. So, if you want it to be longer than a 3 to 4 minute range, that's perfectly fine. But try to aim. Honestly, 3 to 4 might be too long. I might be shooting for the stars, okay? Honestly, we might be around the 2 to 3 minute range. Honestly, I think is probably what's best. But if you want to go longer than 2 to 3 minutes, feel free to go longer than 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, but this is kind of the idea of what this project is. You are eventually going to be researching your own topic and creating a podcast on it. All right. Of course, if you have any questions, we'll be working on this. My planned due date for this, let me look here at the calendar. We can look at it together, is like the end of January. So January 31st is my plan currently. We will see if that plan stays or if we have to add an extra week. All right. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody.